The Commission will come to order. This is the time and place set by the Commission for the public participation hearing in applications 11-03-014, 11-03-015, and 11-07-020, addressing cost and cost allocation issues related to providing an option for gas and electric utility residential customers who do not wish to have a wireless smart meter installed in their location. And good evening, everyone. I am Administrative Law Judge Amy Yip-Kikugawa. The assigned commissioner for this proceeding is President Michael Peavy. And to start off with, the public participation is exactly what the name suggests. I'm here to hear from all of you. I do want to hear your comments, and if you do wish to speak, you should have signed up with the Public Advisor's Office in the back. If you haven't done so, please do so now. So please go, and I will be calling you forward to make a statement. We will have, everyone who has signed up will have an opportunity to speak. A couple housekeeping matters before we begin. I do have two reporters here today. They will be taking down everything and preparing a transcript. That transcript will be given to the commissioners and they will be reading it. So I do ask that when you are called up, please speak slowly and clearly into the microphone. Please, as audience members, do not interrupt the speaker. It's very difficult for our reporters to get an accurate record if there's a lot of background comments from people as the speaker is speaking. This hearing is scheduled to last for 2 hours, and each speaker is going to have 2 minutes to speak. We will also be taking a short break about halfway through, and again, please be assured, all of you who wish to make a comment will have an opportunity to do so. And again, since this is a public participation hearing and to hear comments from all of you, there are no questions and answers. I'm not here to answer any questions that you may have. It's really, I want to hear from all of you. So just a little background on how a decision will be made in this proceeding and what the process is. For the 3 utilities, Pacific Gas and Electric Company, Southern California Edison Company, and San Diego Gas and Electric Company, they were ordered earlier this year by the Commission to modify their advanced metering infrastructure programs to include an option for customers who did not wish to have a wireless smart meter. As part of that order, there were interim fees that were adopted, and the second phase was kicked off to consider what the permanent fees should be and also what costs should be recovered from the utilities. So that is where we are today. For Southern California Gas Company, they do not have an opt-out option for their advanced metering program yet. That is something that is currently pending before the Commission. The decision will be issued on that in the near future. The utility, however, SoCal Gas, is participating in this proceeding, and we're also, as part of phase 2, looking at SoCal Gas's costs and the cost allocation issues. In terms of how a decision is going to be made, we have had evidentiary hearings in this proceeding already. For utilities as well as various consumer groups have submitted testimony. We have had the witnesses subject to cross-examination, and the evidentiary hearings have been concluded, and we are now also going to be receiving briefs from all parties. And when I talk about the consumer groups, that includes the Commission's own Division of Ratepayer Advocates, as well as outside consumer groups such as the Utility Reform Network and Aglet Consumer Alliance. The briefs and the evidentiary hearings, testimony from the evidentiary hearings, that makes up part of the record. Another part that we do consider is public input, and that is what we're here for today, is to hear from all of you. When I conclude, all the information that is submitted to me, when the briefs are filed, I will be looking at the evidence. I will be preparing a proposed decision for the commission to consider. The commissioners may vote out my decision, or if one of the commissioners wishes to have an alternate outcome, they can write what's called an alternate proposed decision. Whatever decision is voted out by the commission is the final say. Okay. So that's the process that we have, and before we go into public comment, what I'd like to do is just make a few quick introductions. And first is, to my right is Barujian Jamachian, who is from our Public Advisor's Office, and I'd like him just to give a couple words about what the Public Advisor's Office does.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good evening and welcome. My name is Varjin Bashian. I'm with the Public Utilities Commission with the Public Advisor's Office. Our office helps the public to participate in PUC proceedings. We facilitate hearings such as this, and our staff was outside signing up speakers. In addition to making verbal comments here today, you could also send us written comments. We have our agenda outside, and I know a lot of you were picking them up. On the back side of the agenda, there's our contact information, both our mailing address and email address. If you send us any comments, we'll route them to the judge and also to the offices of the commissioners, so they will see our written comments. We also have a free subscription service where you could sign up electronically and you will receive updates on this proceeding or any other proceeding. Again, on the back of the agenda, there's a link for the subscription service. You could just follow the link and you could enter this proceeding number to get updates. If you have any questions, please see our staff outside, or you could talk to me after the hearing and we'll try to help you as best as we can. Thank you and welcome.
It's almost easier talking this way. For the other introductions, what I would like to do is introduce you to individuals that are from the various utility smart meter programs, and they are available to answer any questions that you may have about the opt-out costs or their proposals after the hearing, or you can just step outside during the hearing if you wish to speak to them. And if I could have Mr. Cave from San Diego Gas and Electric Company, just wave and identify yourself. Okay. We also have Mr. Kobasic from Southern California Edison Company, and we also have Mr. Healy from Southern California Gas Company. So those individuals, you may speak with them after the hearing. We also have outside in the entrance area representatives, customer service representatives from the three utilities, and they can help you with customer billing information that you may have, or even if you wish to sign up for the opt-out program. So if you wish to do either of that, you may also go out into the entry area and speak with them. Okay, now I'd like to just proceed with the public comment period. When I call your name, please come up. I'll be calling 2 names at a time so that we can move a little faster. The other thing is we do have a timer here. She will be our timekeeper. There's 2 minutes, and she will give a warning at the 1 minute mark, and she will also note when the time is up. And off the record.
That's right. I would like to, there are people who are electronically sensitive and sensitive to RF radiation. I'd like to have all cell phones turned off, not in airplane mode, but off. They've done that as an accommodation.
Are you going to be introduced, the parties to the action?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's on the record. Okay, one other thing before we proceed is there is a request that all cell phones also be turned off at this point. So if you do have a cell phone on, please turn that off. Okay, so let's begin with a public comment period. We are first Cindy Hoffman, followed by Ann Dwelke.
Wireless technology is efficient, cheap, and it's fun. I don't want wireless technology to be dangerous to our health, but after reading the many independent research studies, I don't see how anyone can honestly come to any other conclusion but that wireless causes illness. All wireless devices emit radiation which builds up in the body over time. It's called time-weighted. The FCC states that wireless devices are safe on a thermal basis because the radiation they emit is too weak to thermally heat our tissue. Industry and the utilities hang their hat on this. They blatantly ignore the non-industry research that shows serious damage from the non-thermal biological effects at the cellular level. Everybody's different, but when your radiation bucket's full, you get sick. It may take 10, 20, 30 years, but how fast did your last 20 years go? Smart meters emit radiation every 20 to 30 seconds, every hour, every day. I know this because I own a meter, and I've metered many of these. As a consumer, you are powerless to stop it unless you pay for a safer meter. I've talked to folks in apartments with banks of meters on the wall, and they're despairing because they might opt out, but the other 4, 5, 6, 10 are still there. I talked to business owners. They don't understand. They've opted out of their residence, but they can't opt out of their business. Doesn't make sense. I've talked to many folks who don't want a smart meter. They can't afford the opt-out already. To charge more is unconscionable. The CPUC's mission statement states, the CPUC serves the public interest by protecting the consumer and ensuring the provision of safe, reliable utility services. I don't think the CPUC is meeting their own mission statement. Most people are here tonight because they are taking on the job to protect the people that the CPUC should be doing. We implore you, please recommend approval for community opt-outs, business opt-outs, and no increase in the opt-out fees. Or better yet, let anyone who wants to opt out do so at no cost. That would be the moral and the just decision for the people of California.
Hi, my daughter has systemic Lyme disease. She was doing much better until October of last year when 6 smart meters were installed in her unit in Turtle Rock condo. At that time, her health deteriorated rapidly. She became extremely dizzy. She's had 2 MRIs. They're perfectly fine. Everything's fine on the MRIs. But her eyes were so heavy during the month that these smart meters were installed that she couldn't see straight. She had to keep her eyes closed. I had to take care of her during that week. She has weakness in her arms since October when they were installed. She walks with a shuffling gait at times. She's had nausea, headaches, insomnia, a gamut of neurological symptoms. I'm a nurse, and I started to research what the damage from these smart meters could do, and she did also. My daughter is going to be forced to relocate because of the neurological symptoms she still has off and on, and frankly, after I read the literature, I had my smart meter removed from her home. So I hope the powers that be will take this into consideration in the future.
Okay, thank you. Marie Libris, followed by Sharon Rollins.
I'm a Dustin resident. I opted out of the smart meter program out of concern for my health. I have to pay $195 a year in addition to my electricity bill. I strongly object to these fees. I consider it as unlawful to ask opt-out people to pay when opting out, when the federal government never made smart meters mandatory. CPUC Code Section 745D says, residential customers have the option to not receive service pursuant to time variant pricing and incur no additional charges as a result of the exercise of that option. It appears then that making people pay for opting out is a violation of the law. The electricity company pretends that the opt-out people cost them money, but we actually save money and energy. The traditional meter has a longer lifespan than the smart meter and uses less electricity to function. Connecticut has asked to terminate its smart meter program after a pilot study showed that there were no energy saving. My family's electricity bill is extremely low, We do not need a smart meter to know how to keep our energy consumption low. People can be educated about that. They don't have to be forced into an unhealthy system. I want no special fee for opting out. I'm not prepared to pay additional fee next year. I demand that the opt-out option should be extended to local governments and communities, and that business should be allowed also to opt out. Besides, it's very discriminatory if you have to pay to opt out, because some people cannot afford it. That's it.
Thank you very much. Karen Mullins, followed by Dorothy Sheldon.
I'm not going to talk about the meter itself because I don't have one. I'm going to talk about how aggressive the electric company has been to come into my property and force them on me. I had to call the police finally. The first time they came into my backyard is fully fenced with gates with locks on them. And they come early in the morning, they come in your backyard, they pound on your windows and wake you up. And I'm in the bathroom in my robe, I come out and I look to see who's in my backyard, and he ran away and disappeared on a gate we didn't have a lock on, and I didn't know who it was. So I called the electric company, they said nobody was sent to your house, which was a lie. Anyway, they came again later, and they squeezed through a gate that we had a fifth wheel pushed up against and broke the gate because they pushed it in backwards. And I did hear him, and he pounded on my window again, woke me up out of a dead sleep, scared me, and I went out and I saw him taking the glass off my meter. I told him to stop. I was calling the police. He was behind the locked gates in my property. The police came and told him he had to leave. And he said my name was on a list for him to come and change the meter. And I told him, no, I don't want my meter changed. And they have been very forceful. Then they sent me a letter just about a week and a half ago saying, thank you for joining the opt-out program. I never joined the opt-out program, either verbally or in writing. And the whole letter was nothing but lies. And I wrote back to them and told them that I did not join verbally or in writing, and I just mailed that yesterday. So they've been extremely aggressive to me the whole way, and trying to force this on me and breaking into my yard and saying that they weren't sent, and it's just been ridiculous, and scaring you early in the morning, coming onto your property. So that's about all.
Okay, thank you. Dorothy Sheldon, followed by Michael Schwartz.
Why were these smart meters deployed without customer consent? Increased fees are unjust and punitive, arbitrary and unreasonable, which violates the California Public Utilities Code 451. What is the price of our family's health, safety, and privacy? This infringes on constitutional privacy and property rights. It's wrong to charge extra rate increases for customers choosing helpful, safe, and private analog electric meters. Isn't this called legalized thievery? I do not want a smart meter on my home. Both my husband and I have pacemakers that are affected by radio frequency radiation. My doctor warned both of us to use cell phones with care. We have been extra cautious to keep away from microwave radiation from all sources such as Wi-Fi, cell phones, microwave ovens, etc. As a senior citizen living on a fixed income, we do not have the luxury in our budget to spend hundreds of dollars to maintain this opt-out program. Why are we being forced to spend our precious little funds on protecting our health from these smart meters? The analog meter that is currently on my home works just fine. By billing me for a meter at a higher rate than those without my disability, some would call this discrimination. My husband and I are forced to pay higher rates due to our disability. This is unjust and illegal. Everyone should pay the same. It's criminal that a United Nations request, not a U.S. federal mandate, has forced all homes in America to get the new smart meters, which are hazardous to our health, an invasion of privacy, and can be hacked. This has been stealthily done. People were given no prior information that the new meter causes health problems. There was no information about radio frequency microwave emissions every 6 to 8 seconds, 8 to 10 times a minute, 14,000 times a day, 24/7. How can we all these RF signals not destroy our health? People will be sick and not know it, not know why. There will be an increase of childhood leukemia when the brain waves will be affected. This will destroy our health at the cellular level. This is dangerous, invasive, expensive. What are we doing to people should not be done. It's not just health, but our bills will go up 4 or 5 times higher than has been shown already. This is a disaster, killing by smart meters. NASA published a 1984
Ms. Sheldon,
report.
You need to end.
Okay.
Keep it up, Missy.
Thank you. Uncle Frank, followed by Susan Brinkman.
My name is Michael Schraby. I'm a professional engineer. My name is Michael Schraby. I'm a professional engineer. I'm from Encinitas, California, where I've resided for more than 30 years. I worked for Southern California Edison at the San Clemente generating station for more than 20 years. There I had a head bonk. I hurt my head. And from that point, more than 15 years ago, I became environmentally sensitive. And that includes electric. And it took a long time to figure out my life. And I did. And it caused me to learn about electric and how it affects me, how to measure it. The smart meters affect me. I wasn't home, I was away when the smart meters were installed. I would have never given permission. The smart meter's gone now, but I had to live with it for more than a year. And it hurts my head. It hurts a lot of people's heads. So if we look at the smart meter, if we look at the whole radiation industry, it's like they've never been proven safe. They've never been proven safe. The smart meter never had an environmental impact study that said it was safe for me and it was safe for you. And I consider it to be a criminal nuisance. And everyone should have the right not to have a meter at no cost to them. Here I have a book. It's called Cellular Telephone Russian Roulette by Robert Kane. He worked in the industry for 30 years. He died of brain cancer bilaterally. And he writes in here that the microwave was known to be a health hazard and known to cause cancer 40 years ago. So this is what we're up against, the long-term health and the neurological consequences. And I urge you to represent this and the others in just this way of like, it's not right. We need to have the option to remove it without fee. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susan Brinkman. I live in La Mesa, California, and I'm here representing myself. I'm also a party to the opt-out proceedings, but I'm not representing my organization, the Center for Electrosmog Prevention, at this time. I am a person who's been profoundly affected by the smart meters. Before the smart meters were put on my property, I had a gas smart meter and an electric smart meter. Before they were put on my property, when they remained for 2 years, I had no symptoms of electrosensitivity. I didn't even really know what that was. And I was able to use other devices without any problem that I could detect, such as cell phones or computers or microwave ovens, etc. But now, since the smart meter was put on my home, within 6 months I became sensitive to cell phone radiation to computer emitted radiation to any form of RF radiation that's in the microwave range. I cannot use microwaves anymore. So it's completely disrupted my life. It gave me headaches, dizziness, heart palpitations. I listed 15 different symptoms that came from the smart meters. And now I can't be in Wi-Fi. All the buildings have Wi-Fi now. So it's ruined my health and my life. My quality of life is destroyed. And all because, so a company can save money on meter readers and gouge us. You know, so I want no fees. I think anyone who wants to get rid of this disastrous device, until they are all banned, and they should be all banned, I think they should not have to pay a dime. Not a penny. And it all needs to be removed immediately. It's a menace to public health. And Judge Yip-Kikugawa, you can do something about this. I asked as a mother, you're a mother, you wouldn't want your children to end up like I am. And believe me, it can happen to them. It can destroy their lives. Children are more susceptible. So don't listen to anyone except these people and make the right decisions. Thank you.
Followed by Bill Frank.
CPUC, do your job. Your job is to protect, defend our God-given human rights from privacy violators, safety violators, health violators. Your job is, the legislature finds, California Public Utilities Code, Section 328. No customer should have to pay separate fees for utilizing services that protect the public or customer safety. I cannot be charged money for a benefit of exercising any of my God-given human rights. Smart meters are not safe, not healthy, not private. They threaten my life, my liberty, and as such, they're unconstitutional, and I never gave up any of my rights, of any of those rights. And it is my duty and my right to defend my life, my privacy, my safety, my health against smart meters. And as such, I should not be charged for the benefit of exercising any of these God-given human rights, treating them as a benefit. The 9th and 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states, certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage or retain others by the people. We never gave up any of these rights. You can't take them away from us and charge us for them. That's immoral. I already gave this all to you, so that's basically it. And I just hope that you will judge in the correct way and not judge like the Supreme Court judged on Dred Scott. Blacks can't be citizens. There's been a lot of judges that have judged wrong. Don't judge wrong. Follow your own laws. Protect the people. We're not going to stand up to this. This is a joke. It's sick, and we're not doing it. We have the right to opt out for nothing. It's our human rights.
Bill Frank, followed by Dave Francis.
My name is Bill Frank. I live in Santa Ana with my wife. We purchased a home there about 18 years ago, and at that time I wasn't aware of the fact that previous owners had installed on the air conditioner some kind of regulator that Edison put on where they could control the electricity going to that air conditioner. So we ended up with, during that hot streak that we had like 4 days of triple-digit weather, my wife cannot handle that kind of heat. The air conditioner worked fine for the first day or two, and the next day it would not come on. So obviously I called tech. Tech came out and said, hey, you've got this gadget on there that Edison is controlling. They shut the power off, so we had no air conditioning. And I'm really afraid that the smart meter has that capability. They can shut it off when it's needed most, in our case for the air conditioning. That's wrong. We should not be subject to that. So I opted out of the program. Excuse me, I'm paying $195 a year for something that was mandated that I didn't want, don't need, and I think it's illegal. What gives the CPUC the right to force me to pay money that I shouldn't have to pay? It's extortion.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the other thing that we are susceptible to is hackers, cyber hackers. It's all over the world. And it can be in the smart meters too. So some kid or adult can set a power off at their room if they're smart enough to do it, and it can be done. It's wrong. I don't want to pay the extra fees of $195 a year. It should be free. I didn't ask for it. I don't want it. And I don't want to have to pay money for it.
You got a
Thank you.
third arm.
Followed by Joe Holtzman.
I had two boys.
Yes, Mr. Francis, yes.
Hi, my name is Dave Francis. I initially refused to have the meters put on my house, just mainly out of respect for and concern about the meter reader troops. Being a worker guy myself, I worked all my life since I was a kid. But and then I got to start thinking about it because of my last 20 years of employment there. I realized they could program our key cards to open since 9/11 for security. From the building about 2 stories up away, if they quit working on the doors in our building, they could hit a few keys on the keyboard over another building, and all of a sudden my key card worked. Holy mackerel, this thing can be remotely controlled. And then I found out about the health concerns. I went to a couple meetings with some of these people before, which I kind of suspected. And it's kind of like a lot of things in my life. I've found out that the more I find out and get knowledgeable of a subject, I realize the more I really don't know. And these, as some of these people have pointed out, they can be, they can be hacked by these computer guys without a doubt. And health concerns are definitely bad boogie. And also the fact that they can be remotely shut off for whatever reason is not good. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe Holtzman, followed by Gail Dersich.
Yeah, Joe Holtzman, Mission Gale. I'm a ham radio operator. I have been since 1956, so I know the dangers of RF, and I know what Part 97 reads, and it's much more restrictive than what they put on these meters. So there is a health issue. I'm also a solar guy, and I've had solar on my house for 3 years, and I'm going to provide you this document. I've had 10 straight months where I've provided excess energy to the grid. Why should I have to pay a monthly fee to have my meter read? It's ridiculous. There is a yearly true-up period when they come out and they say, okay, this is what you owe us or what I am owed by Edison. Right now, I'm owed by Edison $236. Why should I pay a monthly opt-out fee? In addition, there's some other things that I'd like to go over. It's an invasion of privacy. If you don't think it's an invasion of privacy, when they start selling the data that you're up at 2:30 in the morning, maybe you go to the bathroom and you turn your lights on, you'll know about it. The health issues have been covered tonight, and Cindy Sage has written dissertations, and I've got a copy of this in here on her report, and it defines it very well. There's no siting rights for an antenna on my property.
Yeah.
It is an invasion.
That's right.
I have written the CPUC on this, and I've got nothing but nonsense back, kids. Now, in addition, there's firmware problems in the present Edison meters. I know this because there's a whole bevy of people every day, every morning, leaving the Holiday Inn in Lake Forest to go out and change the meters. Here's a picture of the trucks. I'm going to give this to you. In addition, the health issues are covered by the SAGE report, and the people have talked about this, and I've measured them, and it's measured in milliwatts per meter squared, okay? And I have taken measures where they are excess. Background's 0.003. When you get up to 0.3, you've got problems. I've seen where it's gone up to 1.7. That'll fry your brains. So I'm going to provide you these details, and it's all in here, all specified. Thank you.
Thank you. Louis Donovan.
Hi, I'm Gail Bursage. I live in a retirement community. And the houses were built in the 70s, and all of the Edison meters are attached to bedroom walls. I've had the smart meter from my neighbor read inside my bedroom, and it spikes every minute to the caution and danger zone. If a smart meter were installed on my bedroom wall, it would be 6 inches above my head. I have written 3 letters to Edison and the CPU with suggestions for my reading the meter on a monthly basis. I could enter it on the website. I could email it in. I could call it. I could mail a form. They could read the meter and on a quarterly, semi-annual, annual basis, and then bill me the difference or credit me. They have never answered or addressed my suggestion on any of my repeated paragraphs in each letter, repeating their rights and comparisons of their meter to my microwave and cell phone usage. Excuse me, I choose when to use those, and I don't sleep with either one of them. Now Edison wants to increase our monthly fees. I feel this is an extortion. Yep. The meter reading fees were always included in our monthly rates. If they are so desperate for revenue, they might take a look at the salaries of their CEO, which is $11 million, some of their high-paid executives, and what happened to the money that they're gaining from firing all the meter readers.
Yeah.
I respectfully request that they discontinue any meter reading fees.
Followed by Myra Mycena.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Louis Donovan. I'd like to share with you my health and smart meters. Smart meter radiation interfering with my heart's electrical system. Cardiac arrhythmia began after an electrical smart meter was installed on my home alongside my bedroom window. I was hospitalized with cardiac arrhythmia and stabilized 8/17/10 to 8/20/10. Then 8 months later, I was hospitalized with cardiac arrhythmia again. I was stabilized 4/23/11 to 4/26/11. Angiogram performed on me, found no blockages in any arteries of the heart. Defibrillator and pacemaker installed 4/26/11 to 4/29/11. 6 months later, smart meter stopped my heart completely. Defibrillator shocked my heart back to life. Smart meter turned off my defibrillator pacemaker, created arrhythmia again, hospitalized and destabilized 10/26/11 to 10/20/11. At this time, I was informed about the smart meter's effect on the heart's electrical system, causing cardiac arrhythmias, and the smart meter's effect on defibrillators, pacemakers. I moved from my bedroom to sleep in the garage to get away from the smart meter. I thought it was safe, did not know radiation from the smart meters radiates throughout the whole house. 2 months later, hospitalized with cardiac arrhythmia, VTAC again. Stabilized 12/24/11 to 12/28/11. Then informed Southern California that their smart meter was killing me. Sent them medical information and legal documents to have the smart meter changed. Edison informed me that their smart meters were not responsible for my cardiac arrhythmias or any other medical problem. They did nothing. I then had the smart meter changed back to the original analog meter. Felt much better after the change. But the next door neighbor's smart meter was 10 feet away from my house. Radiated from the smart meter affected me 9 months later. Hospitalized with cardiac arrhythmia, VTAC again. Stabilized 9/16/12 to 9/19. Southern California Edison now have an opt-out program with smart meters back to analog meters. Both my neighbors have changed back to original analog meters. My heartbeat is now better, and I thank you for this. Done.
Followed by Julie Lewis. Your Honor.
I'm Myra Mycena from Yorba Linda. And I would just like to say that for every individual here, if the public had been as well informed as we are now right here, we would have 1,000 people for right here. But the reason why you don't have more opt-out people is because they don't know about the dangers. The public was not well informed. You know, I'm a PhD in clinical psychology, and I'll tell you why that is important. I deal with people that have problems that are invisible, they're intangible. Emotional problems, psychological problems, spiritual problems begin very invisibly. Nobody knows they have them until they get to a point where it becomes intangible and it starts intruding in on their personal and professional lives. And why is that important? Because the nature of EMFs, these electromagnetic forces, you cannot see them. So by and large, people don't feel threatened by something that really is so damaging to them. And by the time it is damaging, it's too late. So let me just bring something up about, in the 50s and 60s, there was the thalidomide tragedy. I'm going to bring this up because thalidomide was a drug that was presented as harmless, and it was given to pregnant women. It was a sedative drug. And over 10,000 babies were deformed, many were killed, and the women, the mothers who took this drug, they had these symptoms. They had numbness, they had coldness, they had all kinds of tingly feelings, and they were told, you know, that's just a side effect of the drug, everything's okay. Well, many of those mothers, they did not recover from these effects. And look at the babies. We know because we can see. You understand, EMFs you cannot see. But the tragedy of so many things that were said on this thalidomide, we know now. Deformities, arms that range, that stem out from their shoulders, deformed eyes and ears, so many things. We should not have to pay for something that is going to kill us. Thank you.
Yes, I'm just repeating what you've already heard everyone else say. I'm against the opt-out, the fees that are charged. Most of the time, these opt-out fees, the people who really need to opt out the most are the people who can't afford to. They can't, and yet they have to do it because it's like the defibrillators and those kind of things are so harmful to them. And I wonder why this is that we have to pay that when the federal government hasn't even made these meters mandatory. Also, I have a big concern, I've been in data management for years, of the privacy issue. Because when we're at home, the hackers can go in and tell, even though Edison wouldn't do it, I'm sure, the CPU wouldn't do it, but there's hackers that know when we're home and when we're not home, just due to these meters. They know, and they can sell this information to anyone who pays them the right price. So they know when to come in and to do harm to our homes, when they can come in and steal when we're not there. They know when we're asleep and when everything's quiet. And this is just an issue that I don't think is right for the public to know. We should feel free behind our own closed doors.
Yes.
My name is Mireille Char, and I'm a resident of Irvine. Frankly, Your Honor, and members of the CPUC, I do not see what else I can add to what people have been talking about since the beginning and what anybody else can add further, except to bring personal testimony to this situation. I really feel that it is time for big companies to start listening to the people. Yay. For years and years, we have plied under. We have opened up all that we could do to listen and to follow. And I think those times are over. So I would like to tell the California Public Utilities Commission and the Edison Company that they had better start listening, because you can see from the events that we had yesterday, a few days ago in Connecticut, that people are on the action and they're not going to quit. So it's time for this other side to start thinking about what it is that they're doing to the world, which is being followed by other nations. We are the teachers of the world, and we are, at this time, giving very, very bad example around us. But we are starting to wake up and not take what it is that we are being thrown under without our will and for the wrong consequences.
In my case, I found out about it, and about 3 or 4 days later, when I called, I found out that they had already been put in my home. And the idea that I would have to then go back, I have a husband who has cancer, and it's a very bad thing for him to be under this kind of situation. I live in a condo, and I know that 1 foot away from me, left and right, they're all there. So I've been thinking about whether it's even worth taking it out, me personally. However, I am going to be doing this, but for us to be paying for this is incredible. I think everything has been mentioned so far. Extortion, thievery, lies, whatever you want to call it, it's there. And it's enough. And it's time to stop. And I think you're going to be hearing about it, and it's not going to go away. So
that's right.
Followed by Ben Seville.
Thank you, Your Honor, for these hearings. We appreciate that. My name is Maureen Holman, and I'm a certified public accountant from Tustin. I've been researching smart meters in the smart grid for over a year now, and I'm disgusted that these devices have been forced on homes, schools, offices, without anyone's consent. My electric meter is 5 foot from my headboard. My gas meter is 2 feet from my daughter's headboard. I have a right to be safe in my home. Smart meters directly assault this right to my family's safety. They're not healthy as they emit microwave radiation, which is a known Class 2B carcinogen. The U.S. military has known this since the 70s. They are not secure and can be hacked by as professed by former CIA Director James Woolsey. He's stated this. They catch fire. They're not even UL certified. Yep. They collect private data as far as living patterns on how we live our lives, as professed by CIA Director Petraeus in a recent interview. This private data will be collected and permanently stored and sold to big corporations like IBM, Siemens, and Microsoft. They call this the big data revolution. Its value is priceless. And now I'm forced, because I don't consent, I'm forced to pay a fee. This is extortion. These fees are unjust, they're arbitrary, they're unreasonable, which clearly violates the Code 451. I will pay for a billing system that delivers electricity to my home. However, opt-out fees make me pay for 2 billing systems. Electricity, gas, and water are basic essentials, and those essentials are provided by a monopoly service provider. I can't go anywhere else. Because the price is so expensive, this opt-out option is only for the rich. What about the poor? What about apartment dwellers that can't get away from banks of meters? This is a debacle, and we shouldn't be forced to pay for it. Thank you.
Ben Saville from Tustin. I have some photos of the bank of smart meters on my neighbor's wall. I've written to the CPUC and the public advisor about this several times. I've never had a straight reply. I'd like to disseminate these photos to you. This is not my home, fortunately. It's my neighbor 2 doors down, and I'm here on behalf of a little boy named Vincent who lives in that home. He has 11 smart meters underneath his bedroom. He has 5 gas meters that will no doubt soon have smart meters in their place. Soon after the installation of Southern California Edison smart meters, he started waking up in the middle of the night repeatedly, crying, screaming, banging his head, hitting his head against the side of his crib. His parents had to take him away, and as soon as he went to stay with relatives, the problem went away. As soon as he came back home, the problem re-emerged. The opt-out doesn't help Vincent. His parents opted out. You'll see in the picture there are 2 out of the 11 meters have the orange opt-out symbol. 1 is mine. The only reason I was able to opt out is that I have a disabled son, so I qualified for the discount. But I won't be able to if you allow Southern California Edison to increase the fee. I'm not aware of any research into the long-term health effects of having banks of smart meters outside a children's bedroom. But I suspect if the research was done, it would not be good. I really think the CPUC has got to take this issue seriously. You've ignored my letters. You've probably ignored hundreds of other letters already. You need to institute a moratorium immediately on the installation of banks of multiple smart meters and waive all fees for customers whose smart meters are part of a bank of smart meters. You can't leave it to the poverty and the inaction of neighbors to opt out when they have no incentive to do so. They're not directly affected by these banks of smart meters, so they don't see the need to pay for it, even if they had the ability to pay. And your failure to take action on this issue is potentially very discriminatory against people on a low income, people with disabilities, and minority communities who tend to live in apartment communities and condo communities such as ours, which is designed for people on a low to a moderate income. I really urge you to take action. We can choose not to use a smartphone, we can choose not to use Wi-Fi in our homes, but as everybody said, this is a monopoly utility. We have no choice in the matter. You have to give us the choice, and it has to be a free choice.
I'm Emil Beretsky, and my wife was with me in the audience because she shares my concerns, as well as several members of our family who have their own homes in Orange County. We have been concerned and objecting to having these smart meters forced upon us, first because of concerns, health concerns, and then and the other thing we were concerned about is the cost. Later on, because there are several ways that the utility actually is collecting money unfairly from us. First of all, to the best of our knowledge, these smart meters are more accurate, and when your equipment turns on, they draw extra current for an extremely short time, and the old analog meters did not pick these up, but these do. We were kind of surprised that we had to pay $75 and $10 a month, and now we are even more surprised that the utility has the nerve to ask us now for more money for opting out, and I believe $24, in other words, more money for every month. This is really plain highway robbery. They're saving money and they're charging for us. They're also saving money on doing away with a lot of meter readers, for example. So I was naively looking for a reduction of my electric cost. Instead, we are getting paid more. So I request that the Public Utilities Commission summarily reject any increased monthly or opt-out fees for those who are concerned because of health effect or whatever good reason they want to opt out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Followed by John Black.
Okay, hello, thank you for letting us speak. I don't really have anything prepared. Everyone here has pretty much covered the same thing that I came up with, but I just want to say that personally, I've been worried about these smart meters for a long time because I studied about the technology, and this Wi-Fi way that we're going, everything's going Wi-Fi. It's not going to stop with the electric company, the gas company, then it's going to be the water company, then it's going to be smart appliances in your house, and they're all going to, I mean, this is just going to go on and on and on. And this Wi-Fi, it goes off into the ionosphere. I mean, it's going to change, it can change the weather patterns, you know, we're having all this crazy weather, earthquakes. I mean, I think we're going into technology we really don't know what the long-term effects are going to be and what we're doing to the environment. You know, they talk about global warming and all this stuff. What about this stuff that's going off into space? I mean, this is just the wrong way to go, and it's all about the dollar. Yes. You know, these companies, they're going to switch. You know, the next thing is going to be, they want to switch to time of use. They're going to study the patterns of everybody when they use their power, and then they're going to place them in this rate structure where they have to pay time of use. And it's just going to keep going up and up and up. And they sold this to everybody that they're going to save money because they can get online and view their, you know, when they're going to use electricity. That is just a bunch of bull. And, you know, I have so much information that I'd like to tell you, but I would take hours. We've written several letters to you guys, to Michael Peavy, and we just get this standard bullcrap letter back, basically saying, tough luck. You're going to accept this one way or another down the line. You know, I follow that. I don't have a smart meter, but it doesn't matter because my neighbors have them. And the one points right into my daughter's bedroom, and just last week, she's 15 years old, We thought she had the flu. She had the flu for like 3 days. She's throwing up and everything. Take her to the hospital. Type 1 diabetes, just like that. A switch got turned on. I don't even have it in our family. And it's like the DR3, DR4 gene. Something turned it on. And I think it's this Wi-Fi because it goes right through your body. And it splits the DNA. That's it.
Hi, John Black from North Tustin. I think the testimony here by different people has already covered just about everything, including the fact that the federal government did not mandate these meters. So this whole facade that we have to pay fees and all that, where does the CPUC get off on doing that? What authority do they have to charge us fees and try to keep up this game that the meters are mandated when the feds didn't have it mandated? And I appreciate what Mireille had to say about the corporations better wake up, because we're not going to roll over anymore. This is getting old. We should not even have to have these meters. They should be banned, and definitely no fees, but we shouldn't even have these meters. The health effects are unacceptable. Thank you.
Evening, Your Honor, and Matt Corrigan. I'm a 20-year homeowner from Mission Viejo. I do have a smart meter, but I've opted out. Haven't quite understood that yet, how I have a smart meter, but I've opted out. They put in an orange sticker on my meter. Don't know whether I'm not getting a signal or whether I'm not online, but that's another issue altogether. I have two concerns, two major concerns. The first one is the opt-out customer is taking the brunt of the economic impact on this. That should not be. Economic class, whatever, unemployment, inability to pay that fee, whatever it might be. It began with a $75 fee and $10 a month. Now I understand it's higher. So we have a mandatory agreement, and we're supposedly a voluntary opt-out customer. I don't quite understand the enigma of that language. I don't quite understand that. My second concern, and I stated this, I have two concerns, is security. The third-party analysts that are involved in analyzing the data, that can go just about anywhere, as we found out with privacy issues that are predominant in our society right now. The second issue is when the power goes, whether through a mandatory shutdown or through the opt-out program, that power is the only thing in most cases that controls the burglar alarm. And so when there's an automatic shutdown, everyone knows that anyone with a burglar alarm system is automatically a new candidate. So that hasn't been answered. So there's a lot of questions that haven't been answered about this. The other thing about privacy is seems to be a main concern of a lot of people here tonight. And I think it's a pertinent one and one that needs to be answered. So it's an economic issue, a privacy issue, and I think those are the main concerns that almost everyone in this room shares. And thank you.
And then after Ms. Schlitt finishes, we're going to take a short 5-minute break.
Good evening, my name is Kathy Schlicht. An opt-out option is a false choice if the fees are unaffordable. Why should any ratepayer have to pay a dime towards opting out? Maybe ratepayers should be given the opportunity of opting in. Why should a ratepayer pay for something we do not want? Why should a ratepayer have to pay an extortion fee to protect one's privacy and security? As these smart meters are to control usage, why should a smart meter ratepayer be penalized for opting out of conservative incentives by not reducing power usage during peak billing cycles? How are businesses and commercial centers able to take advantage of conservation incentives and not negatively impact its bottom line? Either way, businesses lose by either loss of business hours or a penalty for operating during peak high hours. This is government intrusion at its worst. My analog meter works fine. Has the smart meter ratepayer seen any significant decreases in their bills? I have read accounts where utility bills have doubled. Is this true? I have read accounts where smart meters have started fires. Is this true? Yes. I have read accounts where smart meters have interfered with household appliances, security devices, garage door openers, security sensor lights. Is this true? And pacemakers, we just heard. PG&E are replacing thousands of its smart meters because they are not working properly and are not giving proper readings. SCE is quietly replacing its malfunctioning smart meters due to firmware problems. Why should ratepayers be punished for not wanting problems from smart meters that are not safe and are a hazard, that are not properly functioning and given misreadings, that are an intrusion into our personal lives and are a security risk? This expense is unjust and unreasonable and needs to be rescinded and our fees refunded. Smart meters are unconstitutional unless the ratepayer wants to opt in. It is the duty of the CPUC to ensure that we all have fair and equal access to the grid, not punish those of us who wish to protect our constitutional rights. If Americans were fully aware of Agenda 21, we would all reject these smart meters.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short 5-minute break and then we'll resume with the public comment.
Boy. 7 o'clock.